On this week's Tuesday Talk, we are answering the question, should I go into debt to get an Airstream? Now, as always, this is our opinion completely, and take it as such. We will not give, we are not experts by any means, so.
So the scenario is you're looking for a trailer. Maybe you found two different 25-footers. One of them is 15 grand, a more traditional trailer. The other one is an Airstream that's like 50, which is not out of the question, by the way, because Airstreams are expensive. Are Airstreams just so unbelievably awesome that they're always worth the debt, or most of the time they're just worth going into debt so you could have the Airstream rather than something less expensive? And in my humble opinion, okay, I guess we're agreed with this. In our humble opinion, debt is something that we always like to avoid if at all possible. Mm-hmm. So the answer is no, not necessarily. And that might be a surprising answer coming from Airstream dwellers. We don't even say the word trailer. We always like to use the word Airstream because we like ours so much. Yeah. But we wouldn't say that they're worth debt. No. If there's another option that's equally viable to you.
Yeah. So for us, we saved quite a bit for quite a long period of time so that we could buy our Airstream debt-free in cash. Because like we said, we didn't want any debt while we're having this lifestyle. That's not going to be possible for everybody, but we could have very easily 2 years before been like, oh, okay, whatever, and just bought one on credit and taken out a loan. But that's just not something we wanted to have to do. If you are financially stable, if it's not a big deal, then I don't think going into debt for something, especially if it's your full-time home, because you would normally have a home loan, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But if you are trying to get out of debt or you are not financially stable and what you're looking for is something to get out with the family or to experience this lifestyle before you actually go out in full time, you don't need an Airstream for that. We have plenty of friends our age and other ages who are either full-timing or are going out a lot on weekends with their families to kind of get the feel for this lifestyle, and they are not in an Airstream, and they are still having an absolutely fabulous time. So while the Airstream is cool, it's not necessary to enjoy 99% of what this lifestyle can give you.
An excellent plug to our sister blog, Think Save Retire. I wrote an article, we'll link to it below, that in my opinion there's only two good reasons to go into debt. One, you have a good current financial standing, and two, there is an what's the word I'm looking for? An amazingly good payoff to that debt. Yeah. So something happens later on that puts you in a better position financially, whatever, than you were now. It's almost like an investment. And buying an Airstream when there's another viable rig that would make you just as happy, that's kind of tough to argue. Yeah. In my humble opinion. If
you can afford it, then it's fine. And we love our Airstream, but you don't need an Airstream, like I said, to have probably 100% of the same experience that we do.
Yes. Now, that said, would we recommend Airstreams?
Yes.
Absolutely.
They're well built.
Especially used Airstreams.
Yeah.
The new ones are incredibly expensive. If you bought this thing new, this is a 2005, it probably would have set you back 120, 130K, and that was 2005 money, not 2018 money. So they are not cheap.
No.
So definitely look new if you are considering used. Definitely look used if you are considering an Airstream.
The other thing to think about is that it's kind of known in the RVing community that the first year you have an RV, you're working out the kinks. We know a lot of people who bought new and have been back to the factory multiple times because of small, weird little things that aren't working, even though it's a brand new Airstream. The people we know who bought
any manufacturer, really,
a few years old, those kinks have already been worked out. So not only are they paying less, but they're also getting a rig that already has a lot of the kinks worked out. So there's that as well.
Yeah.
So that's our little opinion on should you go into debt to get an Airstream. We've talked a lot about finances on this channel because, as you guys know, Sister Blog thinks they retire. We are retired in our 30s, which is unusual. And
having no debt is a critical
Part of
component
that.
to that, by the way.
Yeah. So I will link, we've done a whole series on finances and RVing. I'll link to that above, as well as linking to our Sister Blog Thinks They Retire if you are interested. And we'd love to hear your opinion on purchasing an Airstream or any rig, and debt and loans and things like that. We often get people asking us, who should we go to get a loan? And since we didn't get a loan, we didn't even research it, we can't help them with that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it for this week. If you have a question for a future Tuesday talk, please leave it in the comments below, because we're always looking for new ideas to chat about. And we will see you next time, guys.
Yep. Bye.